Hey, what is up guys, GuitarRock here, welcome back to another Brown Dust 2 video. So if you guys are not aware, the patch notes has released. If you guys missed yesterday's live stream, the devs has announced a multitude of characters. Alright, I've posted all of it in a separate video, and if you guys want to see like the short version, you can follow me on Twitter, alright? But ideally, this week we're gonna have Sonia coming first. As you can see, this is her skill cutscene shown in yesterday's stream. Now she's going to have the number of 11 going into her hand, alright, the palm of her hand. Very cool. Now she's going to be the first batch of characters coming this particular season, so let's try and see what she's going to be all about. Now Sonia was first teased back then in a separate story as an NPC at first, right? So she wasn't a playable character. In fact, back then the developers have released that, oh, we are not sure if she's going to be a playable character. Now it seems like she is, alright, and I'm very grateful for that. And as you can see right here, alright, full burst RPG Brown Dust 2. Okay, so per usual, we're gonna have a new specific event called the Stigma of Dreams update. So this is going to not only feature Sonia right there, but at the right side you can see there's Darian, which is going to be Blade's sister. Alright, not going to spoil anything beyond that, but if you guys haven't read the previous story, that's going to be it's a very interesting one. So Stigma of Dreams, we're gonna have a new event as per usual. Moon Shadow Tanya Light. Alright, that's going to be, I believe, the Fiend Hunter that was shown separately. So all you can see right here, plenty of new items, so make sure you guys empty out the shop if you guys have not yet already. Of course, the shop will still be available for 14 days, alright, you can still access it, but this is going to be the new requirements for getting the bonuses, right? We got Sonia, Luventia, Wild Dog, Ilenia, and codename A Rafina. So why all of these characters? What are all the similarities? They are all dark type DPS characters, right? So UR exclusive gear, guaranteed draw improvements. If you guys are not aware, previously there was this draw system where you basically sort of have to rely on this particular draw point to not go to 0, because as far as I'm aware, 3-star and 4-star UR exclusive gears do reset it. So now things have changed. It's much easier to get weapons now, alright? So when you draw exclusive gears, you are guaranteed draw 100 draw crown. Now only provides the 5-star UR gears. I'm not sure if this is going to change plans for a lot of us moving forward. On one hand, I can see, oh, now you are encouraged, or it's much more advantageous, or it's much more rewarding to pull for weapons because you are guaranteed a 5-star character's weapon, right, as opposed to a 3-star or 4-star. On the other hand, you can also look at it from like, if you are free to play, alright, you just stack up these draw points every single day. You just do the daily pulls and stuff, and eventually you get there, right? So there's just no need for you to, you know, try to get a bunch of weapons. So both spectrums are going to be in line, right? You are guaranteed draw point does not reset when you get 3-star or 4-star. That is a very good addition, very good changes, right? So you can see right here, there will be a separate ticket and stuff. Alongside with a bunch of stuff, Fiend Hunter and Guild Raid Battle UI improvements. Okay, that's going to be something that we can see. They basically have a separate tab for you to look at the weapons and stuff. Talent skills, in recovery health options. So now you can get 100% health for everyone if you sleep, right? So codename A Rafina will have a special cutscene added, which if you guys haven't seen, very good. And a bunch of other things. You can see right here, Shadow Dream Sonia as well. Costume and stickers as well will be given. Compensation. This is going to be distribution right here. Accounts that are members of a guild prior to September 10th maintenance. Okay, this is very interesting. So we are going to get all of this upon logging in. I'm not sure what that was about. Oh, because this is changes of the guild raid schedule. So make sure you guys are in a guild to get this particular one. Holy, this is a lot of rewards, 1.5k free diamonds. Okay, so with that, let's talk about Sonia. Shadow Dream Sonia, what is she going to be all about? So this is going to be the first lolly character, I guess, like outside of, like, who was the last one, right? It was pretty much Rafitia, swimsuit Rafitia, I guess, right? So outside of that, we don't really have any new characters. Brown Dust 2 has never really released like this kind of like petite or small body or whatever you want to call this, right? So anyways, we got Shadow Dream Sonia right here. She is going to be a skip type, alright? And you can see this is going to be what it is. She is not going to be limited, just so you guys know. All in all, she is going to be right there, available to you even after the banner goes away. Now at +0, she's a 4 SP character, applies a 55% vulnerability to the enemy for 4 turns. If this attack results in the enemy having a chain count of 6 or more, then she will apply something called 75% of dark vulnerability for 4 turns instead. Deal magic damage to the enemy equal to 300% of your magic attack. Okay, that is pretty interesting. So very interesting concept right here. So let's talk a little bit more about this, right? Because right now at +1, she goes to 3 SP, okay? Very, very cool right there. 3 SP for applying vulnerability, I think it's going to be pretty decent. And then 80% vulnerability right here, going into a +2. And then +3 right here, we got another one. Oh, that's going to increase the net damage right here. +4, more damage. And then +5 is going to be right here. So, vulnerability and dark vulnerability. Very interesting. So she's sort of like in a way she fits in the dark team. So I don't think her job is to apply damage. I think you are going to use her in most cases to apply vulnerability. Now I do think this is a very good one. So she is going to have 125% vulnerability if you add these together. For 4 turns, if this attack results in the enemy having a chain count of 6 or more, apply 155% dark vulnerability. So you're going to get 150, 60, 175% instead, right? For 4 turns. Deal magic damage to the enemy equal to 500% of your magic attack. Okay, first things first, I think this is a very good skill. She is going to, however, have 1 turn of not being able to cast certain things. Now let's compare her to all the characters that we have right now. So what is the concept of vulnerability, right? Because for those of you who are not aware, we got something like magic vulnerability, like Livia. What did I click? Okay, Livia, for example, this particular costume. For those of you who are not aware, she is going to apply magic vulnerability. So that means it amplifies magic damage as a whole, right? So it increases incoming magic damage. So if you apply 100% vulnerability, means you do 2 times the damage, right? So you do 100% more damage. So ideally, that's going to be what it is. Livia is a bit more complicated. She has better range. All right, she is going to always fit in the magic vulnerability team, not only because of this particular costume, right? Because her other costume is also very strong. She has multiple costumes that she can rotate around. So she has this particular one that can apply vulnerability for 4 turns. However, she's a bit different. The main target, alright, the one in the middle, will get 120% vulnerability. Alright, so she has 100% vulnerability surrounding, but she got 120% vulnerability. However, Livia is going to be a magic vulnerability. So she fits in the magic team specifically, and she's only strong when you pair her with other magic characters. Obviously, you want to do magic damage to be able to benefit from the vulnerability magic. Now, a character that can do physical vulnerability is going to be something like Rafina. Alright, if you guys are not aware, this particular one, Game Club Rafina, you can see right here, apply 100% vulnerability physical to the enemy for 4 turns. Alright, so that means your physical damage is going to do 100% more, and she also has a 3x3 tile range. We also have something like, for example, Ares, collab character by the way. She is going to have 150% vulnerability. However, she only applies this vulnerability to the main target, right? Depending on the boss, if the boss have only 1 weak spot, then this is going to be way stronger. Alright, of course, Blade also have that as well for 100%, 150% vulnerability to the main target as well. And I think Blade is a very strong character as well, right? You can use her for damage and for the vulnerability. Now, the character that Sonya represents, however, right, she is going to be a bit more complex. She can apply vulnerability, but if she can do chain count of 6 or more, she will be able to apply dark vulnerability, right? So very, very interesting. So this makes Sonya a little bit more flexible because she can fit in both physical and magic team. Because vulnerability, like I showed earlier, we got physical vulnerability, we got magic vulnerability, we also got regular vulnerability. The only character that can do, as far as I know, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, they can do like vulnerability for both magic and physical. It's going to be Zenith. Zenith has this particular ability right here. She applies concentrated fire and she applies 100% vulnerability to the enemy for 4 turns. So in Zenith's case, she fits both in physical and magic team because of that, right? But keep in mind, Zenith has very because she has very limited tile range, she can only hit one tile. In most cases, you're just going to use Zenith in against like to pair her with either Wilhelmina or like those single target tile characters, because of she's just a one tile range. Vulnerability for one tile is not going to be that big of a deal, right? However, Sonya seems like she's going to be very, very good because she is going to be able to apply vulnerability. In this case, it's not just one target, but in an AOE, right? Because she has this cross tile right here. All right, 4 turns. So very interesting. However, if this attack results in the enemy having a chain count of 6 or more, that means this particular attack is going to, that means you have to stack the chain up to 5. You have to hit the enemy 5 times first. And then this attack, because she only hits once, right? So this particular attack is going to be the 6th one. Then she will apply the Dark Vulnerability instead for 4 turns. Now it feels like if you want her to apply Dark Vulnerability, that means she's only going to fit in Dark Team. That means the Dark DPS damage dealers that go after her will be able to do 155% more damage. Alright, so we have this concept before with, for example, Win, alright, where what's her name? Venaka is going to have that similar concept, this particular one, right? So she can apply Win vulnerability to the enemy for 4 turns, which makes her very, very strong to pair with Dalvi. You let her go first, apply Win vulnerability, and then Dalvi goes in afterwards. Bam! Alright, it just does a bunch of damage. And the good thing about this vulnerability is it can stack, right? You can put Venaka and Livia, right? So 2 magic, 1 magic vulnerability, 1 win vulnerability, and then Dalvi goes after, right? You can also do that. Granted if you have enough SP. In most cases, you probably won't have enough SP to go so many, right? You have like 2 supporters, you know, and then you got like, if you got like 3 DPS characters, right? Sometimes it might not be worth it, because like at that point it consumes too much SP. And in certain cases, yes, applying vulnerability is good, but sometimes applying something like chain or applying buffs to your own party members, improving your crit damage, boosting your attack is also going to be more important as well. So you don't want to have too much. Vulnerability is good, but you don't want to only focus on that, right? You also want to like balance things out across all the you know, because it's diminished value. But anyways, I do think that this is a very interesting concept. I think she's very strong. The thing is, her tile range can be a bit limiting. It's not a 3x3 tile, it's a cross tile. This can limit her ability to shine as a whole. So it all comes down to her next costume, because she is only going to be her first costume for now. It is going to last, as you can see there, for 3 turns. The thing is, 500% attack is quite decent, and you have to make her move after some sort of DPS characters. So basically, I feel like you ideally want her to move maybe like after Celia, right? Maybe the best team for her is probably going to be in the Celia team. I feel like if you're trying to make a dedicated dark team, depending on what you're trying to do, right? You can make Luventia go last, but if Luventia goes last, she is moving before Luventia, she buffs all the vulnerability and stuff, then there has to be a Celia in there. So you got 2, let's say you got Liberta, you got Rafitia, and then you got Celia to move first, and then she moved number 4th, and then your 5th one is going to be, in that case, your main DPS, either Luventia or Iliania to a certain extent. So that's going to be how it is. You ideally want to go it, you want to do it that way, right? Because I don't see any other way. So she shouldn't be the last one to go, but that's going to depend on the SP as well. So I think this concept is very interesting, and I'm kind of grateful that we have more vulnerability characters. I'm not sure if she will be flexible enough to justify her to be something that's like permanent in most characters' team, because vulnerability is going to be something that you'll see a lot, right? And ideally you want to be able to apply this consistently. But I do think that this is going to be for like a veteran player, right? Once you reach boss, that is going to be if you guys are like somewhat new to the game, right? For the Fiend Hunter, you can only do up to level 10. That's fine. You need 2 teams only, right? For level 10, you have 1 magic team, you have 1 physical team. But once you go to like higher levels, this is where you are going to require to level 11, level 12, level 13, right? If you want to challenge yourself, now you need 3 teams. I do think that she is going to help a lot in that particular scenario. That's going to be where she shines. Alright, it seems like that's very, very good for a lot of people who are struggling to make 3 teams, because we don't have like consistent debuffers yet in that particular case. So I think this is going to be very, very good. I do appreciate that. She's also going to have this particular weapon. Again, I wouldn't recommend pulling for weapons too much. And right now, if you guys are not aware, they did mention a collaboration coming in October. So right now we are still in September. So next month we're gonna have a collaboration rerun. Now they are not going to reveal what collabs yet, so that's going to be something that you guys have to wait a little bit and see. So with that, this is going to be what's coming this particular week, and they are fixing a bunch of issues. So let me know what you guys think of Sonia. I do think that she is going to have kind of a very interesting meta spot. I think in most cases you are going to use her a lot. If you are planning to use like a dark team as a whole, even in like a separately in a magic team, right? Because magic team I think is more complicated. You can also use her, right? So instead of, you can use Helena, you can use, I'm not sure if she takes over Livia. It depends on the boss, right? Because Livia is still gonna fit in the magic team. You're gonna use Helena Refitia, and then you're gonna either have Celia, and then you have her, and then you got Eclipse going last or Natus going last, depending on the boss tile range, right? So that's going to be how it is going with Sonia setup. So with that, that's pretty much it for this particular video. Let me know what you guys think of this week's patch. Are you guys interested in getting her, or will you guys be getting the one after? Because we are going to have, I believe Tyr is coming after, and she is going to be a wind type character. So that is going to be much more, I'm not sure if that's going to be much more beneficial, but it depends on which elements you're trying to focus on. And I think dark type, I think it's going to be quite decent, right? Especially if you're trying to improve your physical one as a whole. Alright, looks like I'm not getting anything today, and that's fine, right? Alright, so with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe, give this video a like, have a nice day, goodbye.